Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Well, I did say that I was going to show some screenshots repeatedly, and I will, especially this guy, BWC420. He must be so, yeah. Well, especially after the election, and I'm going to show some videos that I recorded before the election where I I kept getting a feeling and even having nightmares about the end result, and then the end result happened. So let's just say a lot of depressing feelings, especially as a woman, as an African American. Well, I'm I have Native American and also Asian in me, well, Chinese, but I'm going to get the DNA test because I want all the specifics. But also a person with a disability. I am everything that many of America hates because sometimes people say I only got the job because I'm a woman or because I have a disability. And I just got diagnosed with a disability, but I worked at a university for a semester and the interviews were virtual. On my application, I state my disability. And during the interview, I tell them I have a disability. But it wasn't until the first day of class I get out of class and the dean sees me and he looked shocked and repulsed. And the rest of the semester he ignored me. He wrote me once because a petty student, like, yeah, that's a long story, but I I work really hard and I am out of the box. A lot of men say I'm crazy, delusional and everything like that, but I take that as a compliment because usually the men that say that are the lazy Republican men or the men who think that just because they are a man, especially just because they are of a white man, they are guaranteed a good life. They are guaranteed to have everything come to them. And if you've been watching my episodes, you already see the screenshots of men who call me the R word, the N word, the C word, the P word, a slave, just so many things because I have political opinions that are different than them. And a lot of them, they get to live their life as a man, so they will never understand. Like, they say, oh, yeah, she's going to be so emotional going to a meeting if she starts her cycle or if she has a hot flash. Or it's like, yeah, women, like in the Bible, it says that they are not supposed to have leading roles. And I'm a Christian woman, but I've been like, with a lot of the things that Republicans are getting from the Bible and how, like, even at my church, some of the things they say, pretty sexist. And it's crazy because, in my opinion, it's crazy because it's known that women's brains develop faster than men. And part of me wonders like, if the man is always just supposed to be the leader, if the woman is always supposed to just be a helpmeet or submissive to the man, how come our brains develop faster? And how come men who, like, if you can have a female and a male, for example, they're applying for the same job, the man does not usually have to have the same standards as the woman. Usually the woman has to work twice as hard in order to get the same position. And or if you compare someone who is white compared to black, and some are not going to believe me, some are going to turn away. It's like, sayonara, goodbye, I hope you enjoy your way out and everything. But applying for jobs as a black woman, it's like getting called in for an interview, and the amount of time people that have told me, after seeing your resume or talking to you over the phone, I didn't imagine you. I've heard that more than once. I've heard that more than 5 times actually, but especially more than once. Or, you speak so proper. How do you talk like that? Way too many times. But then also having the disability, I get the questions of, is that permanent? When you going to get that fixed? What's wrong with you? Is that contagious? And very ignorant and illegal questions during interviews. And it was before my diagnosis. So, but yeah, like when my first job that I worked, that I was diagnosed with, was that university job. And just seeing how they treated me, and even knowing that some of those professors came to me, pulled me to the side, like before I was going back home, to let me know that the dean has mocked me, talked and said terrible things about me, and mostly about my disability, and saying that their school has no room for people like me, because like they're an athletic school. And I, I don't know, it's just like people like him show how America really is. So many people say America's the land of the free, and yeah, land of the free as long as you look a certain way or act a certain way, or as long as you agree with certain people. I'm not one of those people. And especially when it comes to dating, it's like, well, I would have never been on a date with this man, but uh, this guy who wrote, it's not that you're boring, but you don't offer anything in return that you mention. Well, he says they you mention, but whatever. You have a whole list of blank, and that's unrealistic. If someone likes Trump, I think eliminate yourself. He used the K word. LOL, LOL, who gives a blank? You're sad, sad blank, aren't you? On here every single time, every single day, always. But he doesn't realize I'm not always on there. With the app, if I open up the app and I just leave it on my phone, it acts like I'm on there. On my computer, if I log in, because sometimes I'm multitasking and sometimes I'll open it, especially if one of my friends is going live. I haven't watched a live in months, and I haven't been live in close to 2 years, because it's very toxic in that environment. And a lot of there's it's covered with Trump supporters on this dating app, which is one reason why I get a lot of good material of how American men really are. I get to show the truth about the men in society. And oh my gosh, he came to some of my lives and everything, and him and quite a like there's one who I showed his screenshots before. I might show, actually I might slide it in this one too. But they're like, you talk about politics, you're stupid, what does politics have to do with anything? I know someone you know and they say you're crazy. You know what, I am crazy. And the reason why men say I'm crazy is, one, because I have 3 degrees. Do you know how many men have said that I'm a square and good for nothing and crazy because of my education? I repeat, because of my education. And I've noticed a pattern. A lot of the lazy men, a lot of the men who thinks that everything's going to be handed to them, or that just because they're a man that I should be begging to have them as company, they're the ones who say that I'm crazy. But then when I'm working on my degrees, working on my businesses, writing my novels and everything like that, then I'm crazy, because I'm not going to go and party with them, or because I'm not going to do special candy or any type of illegal activity like making fake car insurance. Yeah. And or some of the men who have been in prison, and then they continue, like they get out of prison, they have a second chance, but then they decide to continue doing the same thing that got them into prison in the first place. But then they call me a square. But then they call me crazy. Because when they see that I'm working on my projects, because yeah, and I know the person who this one guy said that's crazy, because I guess this so-called man that talked to him actually wrote to me and let me know this guy can't get you off his mind. He keeps bringing you up. I don't know why. And he was honest. He was like, yeah, I said you're crazy. And I asked why. And, oh, okay, guys, just because you're 8 to 10 inches doesn't mean a woman is supposed to jump on you to sleep with you. That is why this guy says I'm crazy, because I would not sleep with him because he has a certain amount of inches, and that I would not be his girl because he has a certain amount of inches, and that I I think I just finished my master's and I was applying for jobs and things like that, and he wanted me to put everything down so I can just go to his house and chill. But it's like he tried to ask me about updates with my life, and I said, that's none of your business. You can just continue thinking I'm crazy. And he was like, no, 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 I really wanted. I was like, I don't care. You thought I was crazy back then, and I'm going to continue being crazy because I know my goals. You wanted me to achieve nothing. And you used to go around telling everybody I was trying to be a white girl wannabe, or I I'm wondering, was he the first one that said I was a Mariah Carey wannabe? But it's just crazy. And oh, and coincidentally, the reason why Mariah Carey's like second husband divorced her is it's not shocking. It's not shocking. And that's one reason why a lot of men hate me. And guess what? I am nowhere near my goals yet. But every goal that I have on that list, I still don't have everything prepared to adopt and foster, but I'm willing to adopt and foster. So right now I'm working on my businesses, I'm working on my disability life, I'm working on anything and everything I can in order to work up to adopt and foster. And I've retired from dating, period, now, because especially after watching the voting and Project 2025, whoo, whoo, yeah, my body's not, I'm not safe anymore, especially having a disability and having to take medications and things like that. If something happens to me, as like, listen to my other videos about my mis or undiagnosis, because doctors for years mistreated me because I was black. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. They told me I was walking the way I did because I wanted attention, because I was lazy and things like that. The last doctor, who I'm gonna show him really soon, I don't even care. Like, if he's offended, I don't care, because I could hardly walk anymore. I was holding on to the walls, and I told him I was in pain and I needed like an appointment with, like, because he was a knee specialist, but I thought he was going to do tests, and I thought he would help me get to somebody that would be able to help me. And he told me, just go home and lose weight. This is how America sees me. They don't care about me. And a lot of the men out there, they don't want me to achieve anything. But a lot of the men who don't want me to achieve anything are the ones just at their house. Either they might have a job, but they go home and they're not working on another goal or achievement, or they're not trying to learn new things. And I'm a sapiosexual. Like, a lot of these men, they don't. It's like if they don't get it, they'll never get it. But it's just to the point where I see why America voted the way they did. And being a woman with a disability and a person of color, Whew, those three strikes that I have stereotypes, I have labels that are stuck on me forever. And even with the Republican Party, they kept like referencing Kamala to getting her pimps back. And like part of me just like within the Republican Party, all of these men are tearing me down for being a liberal and Democrat progressive. And they, oh, you just want money from the state. You just want this. You just want that. Oh, Black Lives Matter this. And oh, it's like, and oh, you got the shot. So now you're going to have side effects. Now you're going to pass away. And, or you might as well eliminate yourself like this message said. And I don't know. It's just, men are calling me crazy for being determined, for keep like, if none of these men were going to motivate me, where would I be right now? And a lot of these men are mad about my list of standards when I started investing, men told like I remember some of the men told me that's just for white men. Black men told me that. So when I see that twice as many black men voted for Trump, I'm not surprised because a lot of them keep saying Trump gave me money. Hmm. Yeah. Fifth grade reading level is that for 54% of America is fifth grade reading level or below. Or below. I see it a lot now. And is that an insult just for Republicans? No, it's for the country. Because we have to remember the billionaires voted for him too. Because the billionaires, it's like they had a meeting with Trump, and Trump promised that they were going to get money out of it. And with the tariffs, it's going to add more money for us out of our pockets. And overnight, the night after voting, they already passed something that would take away Social Security away from some people, especially some teachers. What's going to happen with people with disabilities? I don't know. What's going to happen with diversity, equity, and inclusion? Because we have a very ignorant Republican Party that says that there's reverse racism. I don't know. What's going to happen with women and having the right of abortion? It's like, especially if it's a miscarriage or it's something that can eliminate that woman, men don't care. Men just think I'll get another woman because they're not in danger. It's not their health that isn't at risk. And I think that like one reason why some men, like if they impregnate a woman, they just leave and bounce because it's not their body. And if a woman gets pregnant and her life's in danger, it's not his body. He can just get another woman. For a lot of Republican men, they'll just go and get a younger woman. It's kind of like a car. They'll just get a newer model. They don't care at all. And so I have so much more to say, but I guess this is just kind of the, like when I saw this screenshot again, because I was going through my screens or whatever. This guy says, who the blank cares about Trump or voting and everything? People like me care. People who care about keeping my rights and wanting to make sure that with diversity, equity, and inclusion, LGBTQ, the people who are disabled, people on the streets who need to be given a helping hand in order to get back on their feet. But a lot of the Republican Party says that they're lazy, and and then also the kids in the foster and adoption system, and also minimum wage when Trump, during his little French fry McDonald's audition or whatever, It's like one of the reporters asked him if he was going to lift the minimum wage, and Trump said that they make enough money, they make plenty of money. So, no. But then millions of people voted for him. Millions of people who are on minimum wage voted for him after he says he will not lift the minimum wage. But which candidate was actually, like, before, like years ago, when people were protesting for 15 minimum? Who was out there with them? The wonderful Miss Kamala. She was out there protesting. And so now we just lost somebody who agrees with lifting the minimum wage and changing things so that women can have daycare so they can work. But see, I keep getting back to the women part because a lot of men were voting out of power. They want the woman to stay home. Men keep saying I'm crazy because I'm not your typical submissive woman. And I think that's one reason I'm going to stay single, because the once I broke up with Mr. No Heart, especially, I realized I'm not the submissive type, and I am not going to be the submissive type. And at the same time, it's like with my standards, I used to date men that had a high school diploma because I used to think, you know what, we'll move up together and we'll figure out what their passion is so that if they want to start a business or with their job, if they want to be promoted, because that's how my parents did it. My dad paid for my mom to get her master's, and then my mom helped my dad study up so he can get promoted. And I was trying to do that. But a lot of the men out here, they laughed at me. They said I was crazy. They said I was delusional. And they were like, oh, you're doing all this work and you're going to fail or you're never going to become anything. Well, at least I'm trying. But then it's the Republican Party that keeps saying that Democrats don't want to try and that we're lazy and we just want money from the government. But then when we are trying, they put us down and insult us or saying that we're going to fail anyway. So which one is it? Which one is it? Make up your mind. And I'm just at a loss for words because a lot of men voted out of power. And a lot of men voted because Kamala didn't go talk to Joe Rogan. Who is Joe? Like, I know who he is, literally, but figuratively, who is he? Like, okay, for a lot of you men, he helps you feel like a man, but he makes you feel like a man while you're not portraying and behaving like a man. Words is one thing, actions are another, and a lot of you men don't know how to like project the correct actions that would allow a woman to feel secure within the relationship. Because a lot of you men keep just thinking that a woman's supposed to be submissive and obey and follow what you say. And a lot of you men are looking for broke women that will just do as you say because she can't go anywhere. Because if she's broke, she has to follow what you say. And so, again, a lot of these men who say I'm crazy, they say I'm crazy because I have investments. They say I'm crazy because I'm writing my books. They say I'm crazy because I'm creating my greeting card company. They say I'm crazy because I have four other streams of income that I am working on creating and developing. So they can say I'm crazy. They can. But I know that I want to be independent because I keep also seeing a lot of traditional wives from the past where their husbands divorced them, left them, or went and got a newer model version of them. And all of a sudden they're starting over. Like, so back to men want power. Men are making sure they keep the power. And if they have the power of a woman's body, that is like a lot of their goal. A lot of them want that, demand that. And I will never be that woman. And so that's why I'm going to work harder so that I can get everything aligned and to the point where I can adopt and I can foster. And to Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's not a mother. I'll get over it. The Republican definition is like, oh yeah, because even that Huckabee Sanders, oh, yeah, I don't care for her at all, at all, because her ignorance and also like she was all gun ho on Purdue University. That just shows how ignorant she wants to have the next generations of children, like trying to study off of false information and brainwash them to the point where they basically, the Republican Party is just trying to raise the next generation as conservative Republicans. And that goes along with marketing. Because with marketing, if you can start them young, like McDonald's did, that's one reason McDonald's is at the top. Republicans is following along with the McDonald's marketing plan. And I'll continue this on another day, but I had to take a break yesterday because my emotions, and then I did have more ideas from what more am I writing. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep on. Part of me kind of felt like what's the point? But once I create my website, I'm going to have it for banned books. I'm going to have it for voting registration. I'm going to have it for nonprofits and like the small business nonprofits where I want to interview them, have them on my show and talk, go to lunch and have a live with them and things like that. I have so many goals. And so I'm going to have to just fight a different way. And I'm going to be showing these screenshots so many times. You guys are going to get tired of me. And I kind of realized one way where I can put all of my pictures and organize them. So I'm kind of excited. It's going to take forever and a lot of work, but I'm going to be doing another step for my disability, for my independence, as well as finishing up my book. Hopefully, well, if not this month, it will be done by the end of this year. I know that because, yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know what's gonna be to come, but at least I know I'm not gonna let these Republicans stop me. I'm not gonna let these politicians try to scare me. Like, even though they have proven that they don't care anything about women, anything about people of color, anything about immigrants and people with disabilities, the LGBTQ, anyone that are different than who this country was made for. This country was made for the white man. There is not one thing that had to be added to the Constitution for the white man. The 15th Amendment and several other amendments had to be added in for women and people of color. People of like blacks were called 3/5 human. This country wasn't made for us. We had to literally build the chair to come to sit. So, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. You're human too, so don't stop. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.